Saw my record deal and said, this is a record deal. I had to spend my own money auditing my label because millions of dollars are missing, and you can tell when millions of dollars are missing.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you before we finish. No, let me ask you, bro.
Yeah.
If somebody owed you $500,000, how would you feel?
Yeah, crazy.
What if they owed you $1 million? What if they owed you $3 million? No, listen.
Okay.
What if they owed you that, bro?
Right. I understand.
And you showed up for them and you did all these things, right?
Right.
And they up billions.
To be honest, I wasn't getting paid, and I felt like my art direction was being taken into a whole new domain, that I'm not comfortable with. But beyond that, I was just not getting paid. I'm supposed to get paid.
Well, for us music listeners, a song is just a song, but for artists and record labels, a song is a song, and of course, a cash cow. You see, in the music business, every song is split into two separate copyrights, the publishing and the master recording. But before we get down to how labels exploit their artists, let's break down potential ways a song makes money for its creators, because one song has more than enough ways to make money. One of the most important ways of making money of a song as an artist is through bookings. Live events are quickly shaping up to be the most lucrative space for musicians, especially in this digital music era. A well-known established artist can make over 100k in a single weekend from live performances alone. Streaming and royalties. Whenever a song is played through a streaming platform or over radio, both types of copyrights kicks in, generating two sets of royalties that are then paid to the respective parties involved in making the song. The same dual copyright payout essentially happens as well as when a song is played in businesses and retailers, whether that's your grocery stores, hospitals, or in the background of a movie. Every time a song is played for public use, its creators get paid. Endorsement. Brands also offer artists the ability to promote their products or services, and this provides an additional revenue stream for artists. And lastly, selling non-music products related to your song, like perfumes or clothing. Some artists have started to ask for money directly from their audiences through either crowdfunding or creating channels of communication with their fans. And in an ideal fair world, artists should retain at least 50% profit from their body of work, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Record labels tend to keep over 90% of the profits to themselves. And since they usually finance and provide other resources needed to make the song, they own the masters. This means they are legally deemed the owners of the work. There are even some instances wherein artists are paid less than 20k a month, while their songs are making millions of rands for the labels.
So irrespective of how much money we've made for the gigs, they were giving you you were like an employee basically. Yeah. You're an employee. Yeah.
Oh, I remember I did 6 shows in one night. So I'm like, no man, here I'm working too much, man. But I still have to wait for a month end.
How much was your salary?
It didn't stay the same, I'll let you say. I ain't finna disclose like the exact price, but it was a decent amount, no cap.
50k, 60.
Yeah, that's Emtee decent starting.
Nah, that wasn't the starting.
Shit, and you were
More
thinking
than
at
like
this time?
Less, way less.
Damn, so under 20.
Yeah, you feel me?
And this was when Roll Up was out already.
Yeah.
Man, that's criminal, bro.
It's been bugging me. How does these labels get away with exploiting artists like this? Well, the answers are apparently found in the types of contract artists sign. The record label's answer to the new digital age in music is the 360 contract deal.
I was also told, because you didn't sign this 360 deal, we may or may not push your record. So when Shining Down came out and you didn't hear it on the radio station, it's because they never took it to a radio station.
These are contracts that allow record labels to receive a percentage of the earnings from all of the artist's activities, rather than just earning from record sales or royalties. The 360 contract deal legally allows labels to also receive the artist's earnings made from concert revenues, merchandise sales, endorsement, and any other additional income the artist may receive. Essentially, this deal promises to look after the artist's entire career, rather than just focusing only on selling the music in exchange for receiving a larger percentage on the money made by the artist. The deal is designed in a way that always leans in the label's favor, giving them the advantage over the artist, making sure that the label gets to retain the artist's masters, and without the right to the masters, legally, it's as though the song doesn't belong to the artist. Whoever owns the masters technically owns the song, even if they played no part in the making of the song. I will reveal the importance of the master's rights later on in this video, so stay tuned.
Are you in a 360?
I don't know.
No, don't tell me you don't know. If you don't know you're in a 360, you're in a 360. It's like one of those.
Okay.
Then tell me what you want from hip hop.
I'm making music, bro. I'm just having fun. I'm saying my fans
You
love
have a
it.
problem with just having fun and fun.
What do you want me to say? You want me to say?
I want you to be aware of your business. I want you to know whether you're in a 360 or not. I want you to appreciate the culture that changed your life and took you from college dorm room eating oodles and noodles.
Chill.
Record labels are far more darker than you could ever expect them to be. They are nothing more than a dodgy loan you would get from a loan shark. They give an artist a loan for the music to be recorded, distributed, and promoted. So when you sign a 5 million deal, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be receiving 5 million. This actually means you are being borrowed this amount of money to pay everything related to making your music. Throughout the duration of the contract, only the portion of the 5 million will be paid to the artist as an advance. The label then encourages the artist to spend the advance, advising them to use the money to buy expensive clothes and cars, telling them that it will improve their image. This is the beginning of the trap, as they know that the artist will spend all the advance, putting them in more debt. Your deal was worth 5 million. Let's say the record label gives you an advance of 1 million from the 5 million. You are now left with 4 million, and already you owe the record label 1 million before any money was spent on any production of your music. Then the label makes you sign away your master's recordings, meaning the label now owns your masters for a given period of time, which is often in perpetuity on the contract, meaning forever. In this situation, the labels hold on to the masters forever, irrespective of whether the artist's debt to the label is paid off.
In a $2 million recording budget, they wanted to book a studio every day for 6 months straight. The manager for the artist said, well, if it's $2 million, we finna save some money. We about to take about like 60 to 70,000. We gonna build our own studio. They said the label told them, we won't approve of any place that we don't already pre-select. Which means you can't take the budget and go do it a cheaper way. The place they ended up having to basically settle with, it was a mansion in the Hollywood Hills that had a studio in it that they paid $3,500 a day, running through that artist budget. The label and the person who owned the crib, they got a relationship. That's almost like money laundering. You're making sure that artist's budget go to the person you with. You're saying they got a big budget, but you won't give them the budget that they could do what they want.
Now you head to the studio to start making some music. The label then books you an expensive studio of the best quality. All of this coming from your remaining advance. Now, in order to make a hit song, you'll need a hit beat. So labels will contact hit producers and writers who will be paid from your advance. There are lots of additional costs that will be realized during the making of the song, such as accommodation, traveling, and refreshments. And all of these costs are made by the label and will be billed to the artist. And in most cases, because of lack of transparency, the labels tend to inflate some costs. And remember that all advance costs will have to be completely recouped by music sales before you start to get paid full rate from your share of the royalties. And this will take a long time when you factor in all the additional costs. And they will frequently find ways to further minimize the cut you receive, making sure you stay indebted to them. Now, you finish making your hit record. The label is going to need to promote your music. Even though they told you to spend all your advance money to improve your image by buying yourself some expensive clothes, that doesn't sell any records. You will still need some marketing to sell records. So they will assign a marketing team for you. The marketing team then goes on to map out ways to build more clouds for you. They will start paying radio presenters to play your music on radio and playlist owners to play your music on the best playlist on streaming platforms such as Spotify. Let's say in an attempt to promote your music, the marketing team throws a big all-white party, buys your manager and your entire team expensive 2-piece white suits, and maybe book another venue for the after party later to celebrate the release of your music. All these things are being paid by you, even if you don't know it. All the DJs that will be playing and everything else is all your money. You just don't know it yet, but you'll get to find out in the near future when you are not receiving any royalties. Now, because your song is released and gaining traction, you'll want to start touring. And obviously, this requires traveling and hotel expenses. And since you are now famous, you'll have to live up to a high life image. You'll start to fly private and live in 5-star hotels. And all this will cost a lot of money. But in the moment of excitement, you'll tell yourself, well, it's all worth it because I'm going to blow up and make all that money back. Well, let's say you are lucky and your song becomes a hit and makes around 8 million. Before you can even think of touching that money, the record label needs to take back their money first. Then the 5 million you owe gets deducted. Now there's 3 million left. Most people think that artists get a good percentage on their royalties, but in most cases, your royalty split will be around 4%, meaning that you only see 150k from the profit made, while the record label pockets the remaining 2.8 million. And most importantly, your master recordings. And because of your newly found high life image, you spend the 150k in 2 days. And if you are still hot, the label will offer you another advance for new music. And if not, you come back to your senses and realize that you're screwed. Like most artists, you go on a rampage on social media. You want out of the contract. Now you accept the invitation to podcast and chill.
I'd ask one thing for 2 years. Like ask one question.
But it's too late. The interview will do you no good, except letting people know you are broke and desperate. That's when they release you from the contract. And because you initiated the termination of the contract, they get to keep the most valuable part of your music, and that's your masters. Then they move on to newer, fresh, up-and-coming artists. Then the cycle continues. To make sure you never resurrect your music career, they blackball you. But why? You ask yourself. Because this will give new artists the impression that without a record label, you won't be able to make it big, that you can't make it on your own. There are only few artists who came back from record label betrayals. When it comes to record label deals, hits you lose, tails they win. A single song is split into two entities, the publishing and the master recording. Publishing rights correspond to the composition of the music and the lyrics. A master recording is the original actual recording of the song. This means it is the most authentic supersonic account of the song. Everything else is a copy. And after that, in the digital world, a copy of a copy. Think of master recording as an orange and everything else as orange juice. If you own your masters, you have the legal right to make money out of your music through collecting royalties and sync licensing. All this involves the recording being licensed by the holder of the master. Owning your masters gives you the total control over your music. For instance, if someone wants to use your music for a movie or an advert, they have to get permission to use the music from whoever owns the master's rights, at a fee of course. And in the case of a movie, whoever owns the masters will forever receive royalties for as long as the movie is making money. Not holding your masters to your music means you forfeit control over where and how your music is used. And you'll also not be able to reap the full amount of royalties from the use of your music. So as an artist, your primary goal is to own your masters. It's ownership. And real ownership is just powerful in any sense. Not all labels are the same size. There are two types of music labels. Major labels, which are organized into umbrella companies called label groups, and independent labels. The major three labels in the music industry is Universal Group, Sony Music Entertainment, and Warner Music Group. The major labels are made up of individual major labels subsidiaries. Independent labels or indie labels differ from major labels as they operate on their own independent funding. They are typically much smaller, both in staff and roster, and tend to be more niche in genre. These are your Ambitious Entertainment Record, Mabala Noise Entertainment, Galawa Jazmi, and your Ghetto Ruff. Record labels have been controlling the music industry since the beginning of time, setting the rules in their favor so they can always win, leaving artists in debt and unsatisfied with their careers. There is a running joke that our favorite artists are probably poor behind the scenes, and a lot of this humor often stems from the reality of their poor contract agreement, the 360 deal. Many wise artists hate it on site. Now more than ever, artists have the power to be the masters of their own destiny, pun intended. Thanks to the internet and social media, anyone with drive and determination can reach audiences around the world, be able to make music with a smartphone or a computer. This drastic shift of being able to generate a fan base should have meant that record labels should have become extinct, inspired by the success stories of those who refused to assign to a label and do it independently. The power of record labels should be crumbling. But as empowering as this concept is, the reality is different. Despite the rise in independence and adoption of new distribution platforms, 91.9% of hit songs that made it onto the Billboard between 2010 to 2018 came from the 3 major labels. In a broader sense, Sony, Universal and Warner continue to benefit more from all the music sold. No matter how many people claim to be going at it alone, the majors are still signing over 100 artists a month.